Alright guys, here we are again with the FXR, trying to keep this thing running on the road, and we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to try and figure it out. So if you haven't been watching our videos, we've got some problems. One main problem is this thing won't stay running on the road. Once we go a few miles, it will cut off at us. And we've changed the cam's pickup sensor in the nose cone. We have got the battery checked. The spark plugs look okay. Supposedly the spark plugs and coil is new. I don't 100% think it's electrical at this point. I think really the only thing left would be the ignition module down here. It's behind this cover. Possibly some relays, but they don't make that ignition module anymore. So kind of hope it's not that. But yeah, so we got to figure stuff out. So now I'm thinking possibly fuel. That's probably it. There are a few things pointing towards that. I've been up last couple nights just researching. This is really my first carburetor bike that I've worked on as my own, and it's been sitting for a while, so could be a lot of things. But I've been looking up vented gas caps, vented tanks, vapor lock, petcock problems, carburetor problems. We're going to look at some things. I have an idea to test before we do anything else, so let's get into it. One of the first things is the cap here. This is a vented tank, and this right here is the vent. Well, that doesn't work, but I don't know if this has been changed to a vented gas cap. It's definitely an old cap. I'm not 100% sure what type of cap this is. But if you look in here, that port right there is a tube that goes down and it comes out the tank. Right here. But if you pop this vacuum hose off, I don't know how well you can see it, but that nipple right there is solid. I don't know if it got blocked on purpose, it got painted, whatever, but that is not venting. So that could be a problem. Now the crossover fuel lines right here, that could also be stopped up, but we want to do one thing at a time. So what they say, or from what I can hear, we need to go ride it, and as it starts to give me problems, we need to pop that open. And if it gets better, then the tank supposedly is building pressure, and with that pressure, the fuel is not getting pushed down to the carburetor. We're basically running this thing out of fuel because our float bowl, or our fuel bowl, is emptying out. So here we are again. We're going to attempt to start this thing up, ride it down the road. I don't want to go that far. Let's see if we can't figure this out. There are some other things. This side of the tank seems very clear. This side of the tank definitely has some sediment in there. It's got some rust and stuff in there, which means I don't think the crossover is working. I know it's not wanting to come out of the reserve side. We found that out in another video. So we definitely have some sediment in the tank. I think we definitely could help with that issue, but I want to do one thing at a time, and this is going to be a simpler, easier solution because we could have multiple problems here. So let's take this thing for a rip and hope we don't get stranded. I don't want to go too far from home this time, so we're just going to try to stay close to home here. We're going to go up and down the road a little bit. I can just keep a constant speed and see what she'll do, because I want to be able to just be riding and it start breaking up on me, and then I can open this up. That's the plan anyways. Alright, we got the gas cap open. Let's see if it continues to run. Like it's doing all right. Because I was trying to cut out on us pretty early. Let's see if I close it back up. Alright, we're going to turn around at the store real quick, head back towards the house. Our gas cap is completely closed. There was a cop behind us. I kind of want to see if it'll start like breaking up really bad, and then see if we can open that gas cap real quick. Alright, that's the first little cough. Alright, it's starting to do it now. I wanted to do it more than that though, I want to be certain. Alright, we're going to keep going. I don't want to go any further. We'll turn around here. It's been breaking up a little bit, but not to the point of like wanting to cut off, and that's what I want. I want this thing to cut off basically. But I'm trying to stay around the neighborhood. I don't want to be far from home. I don't want to be stranded. Alright, we're going to go down this road and come back. I don't want to keep going up and down the same road. Well guys, I can't get it to stutter now. After opening that gas cap It was only stuttering a little bit, like sporadically, and after opening that gas cap, it's not stuttering now, which is very strange. I feel like I've ridden around enough. I don't know. It's very strange. The only thing I can think of is maybe, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure this out the hard way, because that's how I learn and that's how I remember forever. But I wonder if this built up pressure just sitting, and then as I took off and riding a little bit and the gas level going down, the pressure would build up, and then when I opened this up, it went to a zero pressure. So now I kind of maybe just have to ride around more and let the pressure build up. I don't know. I was messing around with the cap. If it is a vented gas cap, and maybe it was just stuck or kind of gummed up, maybe I broke it loose a little bit. From what research I've done, you got to have something vented, whether it's the cap or the tank. And obviously our tank is not vented anymore, but it was supposed to be, or at least it's able to be vented, but it's got the tube going down to the charcoal can, or a little PCV valve or something down there. So at one time this bike was probably set up for the tank to be vented, but right now the tank is definitely not vented. So I'm guessing it's relying on this cap, or this cap is not a vented cap, and or it's defective. I gotta really get my foot up under this shifter now, get it into the right gear. But yeah, it is, I have ridden it longer than expected. So I don't know. I kind of wish I had ridden it until the bike almost shut off, or it really started to break apart before I opened it up. But I don't know. Bit of a conundrum. We're gonna see if we can't figure something out. Alright guys, we got a horrible idea. Wife texted, said I'm supposed to meet her for dinner in town. Well, I'm gonna take the FXR. The place we're eating at is further than I made it last time, when I thought I fixed this thing. So we're gonna see what happens. Alright, she's starting to break up a little bit. Let's see if we can do it, make it do it a lot more. Alright, it definitely felt like it wanted to shut off. So we popped that gas cap. Let's see how much it clears up. If that's the problem, that would be awesome. Alright guys, we're almost into town. We've made it further than the gas station that I would turn around at, where it really started to die on me last time. So I actually think the gas cap is the problem. Either the cap or the vent hose, whatever you want to call it. I think it could be just as simple as getting a new vented gas cap. Now this gas cap, it's either worn out or it's not the cap that's supposed to be on here, or supposed to be on here anymore. with that tube down there being plugged up, if this is a non-vented cap, then the cap's not the problem, it's technically the vent tube. But the easy solution would be just to replace the gas cap and call it a day, and then we can actually take all that stuff down there apart. I think what I'm doing with my shifting, I don't think I'm letting the shifter come all the way back down as far as it should. The shifter's a little low for me. But, God. Woo, that was a little scary, guys. But, yeah, anyways, I think the shifter definitely needs to be adjusted. I think that's why I'm not always hitting, I don't think I'm going all the way down, so it can't come go all the way up. But yeah, we made it to dinner. That's awesome. So, I can't believe it. She's not here yet. I don't think, no. So we might just ride this a little further and see if we can't get it to misstep again. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep riding it down the street just to see if we can build that pressure up and get it to do that again. I didn't want to stop at the gas station and get gas yet, although I want to get gas before I go home, just for the simple fact that I didn't want to open this again. I kind of want to make it do it again and see if it clears right back up after I open this up. But man, if this is the solution, oh, I've been racking my brain for this, for that. Oh man, that'd make me so happy. That would be awesome. I broke down there, I broke down there. In a previous episode, we broke down everywhere. Broke down, basically just, bike didn't want to run no more. I definitely have more confidence in this than I've had probably since the day I got it. Especially after we kept getting stranded. So, your boy's pretty happy. Yeah, I'm really thinking that's the problem. Man, that is awesome. Alright, it hiccuped right there. She's still not here. Let's go the other way. I did get here earlier than she said she would. I wonder also if while I'm using the fuel, like the less fuel in there, the longer it takes to happen. I wonder if that's the case. I don't know, just because there's more room for pressure. I'm sure there's a lot of physics going on here that I just don't know. But I mean, at this point, we're rolling. in an earlier episode of this saga, we kind of broke down right here, pushed it into that parking lot, and that's where she found us. She just happened to see us on the way home from work. And it took like a little over an hour, I think, to get home from that spot, where it should take like 10 minutes. Alright, I am going to go ahead and get fuel. Ooh, premium's expensive here. Good thing this thing doesn't need much. I am going to go ahead and get fuel. I'm going to see, since we're riding around, see if this thing hisses or makes any noise when I open it. It didn't. But yeah, we're pretty low. So let's go ahead and put gas in it. It'll be full, and let's see how we do going home. I think this is our problem. I'm not going to fill it all the way up, because if I need to open this on the way home, and I don't want fuel splashing on me. But let's put a little bit of gas in it, just to know that we're going to make it home. I don't want to try to do this after dinner, because it's probably going to be dark, which this is the dumb idea, trying to figure this stuff out knowing that I'm going to be riding home in the dark. Just shy of 2 gallons in, I made sure I got plenty to get home. It's way more than enough to get home, and enough space where we can open it up and not get splashed with fuel. So let's have some dinner and hope this is fixed, and then hopefully make it home without breaking down and pushing this thing at all. Alright, we're leaving the restaurant. I don't know if it's too dark for you guys. It's starting to get dark. We're gonna see how far we make it, or what happens going home. Hopefully our issue is resolved with just a fuel cap here. I'm guessing after getting fuel and maybe all the pressure was relieved. I'm not really sure, but with more fuel in the tank, I don't know if that's better for the pressure or worse. So we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully it's not too dark, and I mean, hopefully nothing bad happens, but we're gonna try to get home. All right, so the ride home the other night was pretty successful. We rode to town and back. Anytime the bike started to have an issue, we just cracked the gas cap. We're good to go. So pretty sure venting of the gas tank is the problem. We do have a gas cap and a new petcock on the way, because the gas isn't transferring left to right, which could also be exacerbating this problem, or still have something to do with it. We do have another petcock. We're going to drain the tank and try to get that flushed out. So hopefully it'll be a whole lot better for the future. And then I think we're pretty much wrapped up on this bike, but we'll see what happens. All right, I never even thought about this, but this might be a good test to show you guys. This is the fuel coming out of the car, or the petcock, and I completely closed off the gas cap. And as you can see, it doesn't seem like it's coming out really fast. So let's pop this gas cap. Oh, that was a disaster. But you see how much faster we got the fuel everywhere. But you see how much faster that fuel is coming out? So yeah, that definitely shows that we have a venting issue. Basically, the tank is creating like a vacuum, or we're having like a positive pressure on the top side. And since we have fuel coming out and no air going in, you can't do that. It's like emptying a milk jug upside down. Everything kind of gets sucked out at first. Let me put this camera down. We're causing so much problems here. It's amazing this thing was running. Look at all the goo on this thing. That's the little screen that goes on the petcock, and it's sticky down in the bottom. Probably had some really old fuel. It does have some gunk in there. We're gonna do our best to clean it up, and we're gonna replace all this, and it's probably gonna run so much better. All right, guys, we're pretty much done for the day. So we're not gonna have to change over the crossover tube, because once we I guess once we have the cap open, the left side of the tank drained out. My guess is the left side wasn't draining before because we had that pressure in the tank. It wasn't moving over. Got everything cleaned out. Got the petcock laying there. We're gonna leave. We basically flushed it all out. There definitely was some sediment in that left side. We're going, I think it'll be fine. I'm not super worried about it, and I'm not replacing the tank, so it'll be fine. What we are going to do is we're going to leave everything open and just let her kind of breathe, and then we are going to, once we get the new petcock in and stuff, we'll flush her out again with some gasoline and then put it back together. But after that, hopefully, fingers crossing, hopefully at the end of this video, this thing's going to be running well, and we don't get stranded. But here's for hoping. All right, guys, this is it. I think it's 2 days later, maybe the next day, I don't know. But the bike's back together, and it's full of gas. So our new petcock came in. It looks pretty much like the old one. The words are a little different, but pretty much the same. And got a new gas cap. Thought I ordered chrome, guess I didn't. So at least it's very easy to identify which one is which. But either way, we reset the tripometer. I know this bike has not gone 15 miles straight without hiccuping and having the problems of it shutting down. So we're going to see what we can do today. We're going to go for a ride. Comment down below if you think this thing is fixed. I hope it's just a venting issue. We're going to throw our helmet on. We're going to take y'all along for the ride and see what happens. All right, cold start. No fuel pump or no, throttle pump. Just straight out. Let's see if she starts. Look at that. Why wouldn't it start? All right, we've been riding for 5 miles now. I guess we'll do a 5-mile check-in. Bike's doing great. It's warmed up. At the very beginning, it always has a little bit of a stumble at like low RPM. That's gone. Usually once it warms up, it clears that out. It usually takes, I don't know, 2 miles or so for that to happen. Once it gets past that, it's pretty clear. So we're doing good so far. The whole point is just to keep riding. Maybe stop, let it warm up, sit, idle, go through traffic, go through riding, and just see if we can make this thing stumble at all. The only thing we can't do is open up either one of these. Now, I filled it up with gas so I wouldn't have to stop at a gas station. It's not something we're going to have to do because I don't want to have to open up either one of the gas caps. But she's performing pretty well, so we'll... Alright, we're in town. We've made it 11.5 miles. No issues so far. We're in town, so old girl's going to be heating up, stop and go traffic. We're going to come up here and veer off, stop, take a couple pictures, let any pressure that would build up, see what happens. But old girl's running pretty good. I have not made it halfway to this point before it started giving me issues in the past. So I'm not going to call it good till I get home, but it's looking like it's leaning that way. Well, I guess we're going to go ahead and stop because I couldn't even run that light with the Range Rover sitting there. But yeah, sitting, stop and go traffic. Old girl's doing pretty good. We're right at like 12 miles. I'm hoping to put, I don't know, at least 40 today. I don't know. I don't even think we need to do that many to prove that it's good. I'm already calling it a win. As long as I can make it home, that's definitely a win. Alright, old girl's doing good. I can't complain. We'll ride around town a little bit, maybe take a longer way home, but I think she's good to go. I'll check back in with you. We've gone about 21 miles and the bike's been pretty good. I left the stoplight and kind of gunned it a little bit in first, and it kind of hiccuped one time. Other than that, everything's been pretty good. I'm sure after all of this, the carburetor probably would need to be taken apart, cleaned, and readjusted. I'm sure the mixture is not quite right, but it's good enough. I mean, beyond good enough to where I'm not messing with it. It would probably be a good, like, winter thing to do, maybe. Because right at, like, kind of taking off, if the RPMs are a little low, it'll hiccup. Other than that, man, this thing just wants to ride. I mean, the blown out shocks, Jesus, I can't talk. They don't help. We're pretty much running on like full compression right now. Of course, my big ass don't help. But these shocks truly are 32 years old. I mean, I believe it, they're worn out. Yeah, she's running pretty smooth. Like, I haven't touched either fuel cap. You know, we did stop, turn the bike off. Usually right when you turn the vehicle off, that's when it's going to get the hottest. Took a couple pictures. It started right back up, and we took off. I would have to guess we're going to be somewhere between 30 and 40 miles maybe. But we've been doing a lot of slow riding in town traffic. I mean, we've been pretty steady at like 60 miles an hour for, you know, the last 5 minutes. They've even got some good stretches of some good mile an hour. And it would not do that for 10 miles before. It would not even do that for 10 miles. So I'm very confident in this thing. It's not getting too hot. Obviously, we're not building up pressure anymore. The fuel cap is doing its job. That's also why before I didn't want to just change the petcock out. I wanted to mess around with the fuel cap and see what we had going on. So when we rode before and it started to stumble and I opened up the fuel cap and it kind of cleared up, I wanted to test that theory. I didn't want to just order a fuel cap and change the petcock. I didn't want to do more than one thing at a time. I wanted to diagnose this thing. This is a problem that I've never had before. I've never had a venting issue in the past on anything. So it's really good to learn this. Now, I learn things usually by the hard way and hands-on. But this is something I'll never forget. And that's just how I learn. I don't know how you guys learn. Comment down below. But yeah, it's been very rewarding for me to learn this way. It's been pretty awesome. I'm happy with it. Kind of funny, this bike does not like to be, you know, just in that, like, barely going anywhere throttle. Like, it loves to be in high gear going 70 miles an hour. Like, it feels really comfortable here. You know, certain bikes, just the way they're set up, they like to be going a certain speed and, you know, just be doing a certain thing. And this bike definitely has that. Like, it loves to just cruise and go. With a better seat, handlebar set up, this thing probably would be really nice to take on, like, you know, shorter road trips, especially solo trips. Throw a set of our bags on there, and we'd be good to go. Now, in its current configuration, your boy's a little too big and tall for this. The handlebars are super weird. They're not comfortable at all. I mean, you can see the master cylinder right here is like straight up. Yeah, this bike, she's just rolling. I love it. Well, guys, we made it home without incident. So the bike did really well. If you want to round up, we ended up making it 40 miles. It was 39.8. But it doesn't really tell the whole story because we were riding for about an hour. You know, we did a lot of in-town riding, stop and go traffic, making sure this bike got nice and hot. We weren't just going on back roads, but we did a lot of back roads too. But this bike did really well. And it looks like it was all due to this gas cap right here. The one that was on it was not a vented gas cap. I'm sure that was original because the tank originally does vent right here. But along the way, that got plugged, painted over, whatever. I know the bike's been painted because, you know, Harleys don't come without decals. And that paint's not 32 years old. So along the way, you know, this got painted and that got covered up. And the bike just didn't like that. It can't, you know, push out fuel and not replace it with air. So that was a problem we had. But now, luckily, it's fixed. We probably didn't need to change that ignition pickup, but with it already pushing out that brown goo, it was probably going to go bad before long. So that's fine. That's 60 bucks. That's no big deal. New gas cap, the ignition switch is fixed, oil leaks fixed, bike's doing pretty good. You know, knock on wood. I don't want to say too much here, but yeah, I couldn't be happier. You know, we've learned a lot with this bike, and that's what I intend to do. You know, I usually dive into some of these projects, and that's how I learn. I don't know anything about them beforehand, and I do on-the-job training, basically. But you know, I wouldn't trade that. You really don't know what you're doing until you do it. That's how I live my life. So I will learn from all my mistakes. Other than that, it's a good bike. Now, we're probably going to get rid of it, though. So it is what it is. I've learned a lot. I learned there's some other models out there I'd rather have, but the position I'm in personally and with my company, this isn't it. I wish it was, but we need something a little different. I need something different. I mean, don't get me wrong, FXRs are hot right now. I kind of would love to keep it, but this is never going to be that showpiece that I'm currently looking for. And I don't have all that much money, so it's got to go. I got to get rid of it to do what I want to do. I would love to come back to this at some point and get a different model and have an FXR that I could just kind of build for me and just have for me. But, you know, right now it's just not in the cards, and that's okay. You kind of have to ebb and flow with, you know, the world, and that's fine. I'm going to miss this Salty Sally of an FXR, but that's okay. We've learned so much with it. I've gained so much knowledge with it that it will always be a little piece of me there. So I'm happy for that. But before I ramble too much and get a little sentimental, let's close this video out and not get attached to this thing, because it would be easy to do. But yeah, if you've made it this far, please hit that like button and comment. Say hey. Say what's up. What do you think of this FXR? What would you do? If this was in your driveway, paid off, would you keep it? Keep it just the way it is? Would you build it up? Or would you get rid of it? Let me know what you would do. I would love to hear it. Maybe you can convince me of something. We'll see. But if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. If you haven't watched any of the other videos in this series, please, I implore you to do that. This has been some ups and downs. Luckily, nothing catastrophic, but definitely been banging my head up against the wall and lost a little bit of sleep on trying to figure this thing out. But subscribe if you're not subscribed. But as always, keep it wretched.